All right, ladies and gentlemen, good day, everyone. Today's is a great day. Of course, we got our new president, which is great. But we are also here to talk about rum, which is the most important. And it's a blessing. I really appreciate all the people that sign up to hear the Rum Lab newsletter here on Zavi. But really quickly, let me just jump on whoever's new. And I already see some good amount of action to the right. I see the chat box. Please write any comments. I want to say hi to Dave, John, Denise, Brad. Thank you for joining us already. And everyone else that has not written or put a comment yet. Hello. If you have any questions, make sure at the very end to share and write where it says ask questions right below. If you have some time, if you're watching us right now on Facebook, come to zavi.co to join us and participate. I know we are right now on Ministry of Rum as well. So come over, guys, from Savvy to Zavi.co. Today's agenda is going to be 30-40 minutes. And then we're going to go to 1 or 2 minutes about sharing some contact information. And if there's any questions, we'll go to our Romo clock. All right. Today's main topic is all starts with the local sugarcane and Ziami Rum Distillery Tour, and we'll be with Victor Olshansky, the founder and CEO of Florida Rum Company. And then we'll say nice. Victor is like it seems like you're like in the porch of the Caribbean, somewhere in St. Bart's.
But it's funny. This wallpaper was in the office when we moved in here, and we just decided to keep it. So.
Exactly.
I think it's actually grease, but you know.
It's grease. Yeah. Whenever you want to I need to wind down or like think of something else to just turn the share and start looking that way, and you're like, oh, this is what I need.
We have no windows inside the distillery, so you know. It helps.
Well, Victor, we've been chatting already, but if you can share a little bit with the audience, a little bit about who you are and your background and how you ended up in the rum industry.
Sure. So my name is Victor Olshansky. I'm the founder and CEO of Florida Rum Company. And Florida Rum Company is a parent of Ziami Rum, which is our signature rum brand. And we also do some other contract production brands. I had a background in the military, graduated from West Point, served a little over 8 years on active duty as a U.S. Army officer. I had one deployment to Iraq in 04-05. Came back from that, became a civilian. Initially had a career in finance, and after a number of years and recession and everything else, I just decided, long term, I really wanted to do something more hands-on, something tangible, where I could actually see the fruits of my labor. And I'd always been kind of a rum guy. Rum was my go-to drink, and I just started to get more and more intrigued with how rum was made, the distillation process, the fermentation, the sugarcane, and after throwing a few balls against the wall, trying to figure out if this was something that could be a career, I got together with one of my Army buddies by the name of Chris Sutton. We put together a business plan. We surveyed the scene here in South Florida, and we decided to start a rum distillery.
Excellent.
That was, I said, we probably started getting serious about this around 2016. We actually did our first batch of Ziami rum with another local distillery in 2017. And we opened the Ziami Distillery here in Hollywood, Florida in 2019.
So are you also, does your distillery do you qualify do you have like a bond warehouse where you keep your rum and storage, or that goes directly to this to like a distributor?
Well, our entire distillery is a bonded distillery for federal state tax purposes. We do keep some of our finished product here in the distillery just while we're waiting to decide, what distribution channel it's going into. But we don't warehouse anyone else's products here.
No, but your own product. I mean, like you need to have like a bonded warehouse for your own product. But if your facility is already a bonded facility, you qualify immediately for that, right?
You mean like the barrel warehouse?
No. So all rum or a spirit that is distilled and put in cases, those cases cannot be left anywhere. They have to be like stored in a little warehouse inside your facility. But for the federal government purpose, that is your little warehouse that you're paying taxes for it, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, well, I'll take you on a tour in a little bit. So, we have originally when we built the distillery, the intent was to have a nice tasting room, a visitor center, and every state's a little bit different with their laws on what distilleries can do direct to consumer. So here in Florida, there's a small allowance for direct to consumer sales out of the tasting room. So our intent was to have a portion of the distillery which was not bonded, which is basically the gift shop where we could sell to consumers. But as we've kind of changed things around with COVID-19 and we needed more production area, right now we've shuttered the tasting room, and the entire tasting room area is now production area. So the entire facility is a bonded warehouse, and everything we have on premise right now is in bond.
Got it. Are you? This is a random question. Are you also a rectifier or no?
No. We have a just the regular distilled spirits plant license.
Got it. This is it was just a more in depth something. I just wanted to ask random questions here, but I like to know because it's who I am. Well, today's main topic, there's three things that we want to talk about today. For sure, we want to talk about the distillery. You give us a tour. Number two, we want to talk about the Florida sugarcane industry. And number three, the way you have been able to maintain your business afloat has been through doing hand sanitizer. So if you can show us a little bit of that business, it'll be great.
Yeah. So happy to cover all of those topics. Obviously, I think some action is going to be better than just straight out speaking. So I think, were we going to start with a video?
Oh, we can certainly. Yeah, let's start with it. I got two videos I want to share today. Victor came out as our guest on the Rum Lab as well. And if you go to rumlab.com, you can click on his interview and you'll see all his questions. That take time to read it. We also have another video that Goya in Florida did to help the local industry. And so this is a quick glance of Ziami.
Sponsored by Goya. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
love. But we are certainly trying to grow this into a business and build a brand that can be established and have a foundation here in South Florida. But we fully anticipate that we'll be able to grow this into a national brand, and that hopefully Ziami, as it grows, will help increase the notoriety and recognition of mainland American-produced rum, and particularly Florida craft spirits.
Well, thank you, Goya, for that. This is great. Let's go. I will say that maybe we should go ahead and do the distillery tour.
Okay. I'm gonna switch over to the tablet now for the tour. So.
All right.
All right. Got me on the tablet?
Yep.
All right. Let's flip around the camera.
And right now we're at your office, right?
We're in my office. And now we're gonna take a tour around. Okay, here we go. All right, so can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
All right. So this is what used to be our tasting room. That's now part of our production area. So we started out with one bottling line, and once we got super crazy busy doing sanitizer, we actually added 2 additional bottling lines to accommodate the sanitizer production. And right now we're bottling some sanitizer. We've got our label machines. I'm going to take you guys into the back where we actually have the distillation going on. So here we have, this actually used to be our barrel warehouse in this room, but for the sanitizer production, we needed to be able to accommodate tanker loads of ethanol coming from the Midwest. So we put in these holding tanks, and we currently have holding capacity here for 7,500 gallons of ethanol. We don't use any of this for the rum. It's the ethanol we've been sourcing is all USP grade, but that's not good enough for our beverage alcohol, so we prefer to make it ourselves. Here we have 2 fermenters. These are Cote fermenters. They each hold 2,450 liters. And then we have a 1,000-liter still. So each fermentation tank is good pretty much for 2 loads of the still. And right now we're distilling a batch of our Ziami rum, our molasses rum. This has been going since about 10 a.m. this morning. With the wash we're using right now, this current wash went in at about 11% alcohol, and we typically run about 85 to 90% coming out of the still on a single pass. This is a hybrid still. You'll see we have a short column with 4 plates, and with the deflameter on top, we're able to adjust the flow of the chilled water from our chiller going into the top of the column, and that allows us to vary anywhere from about 65% up to about 92% alcohol coming out, depending how much we chill that down. Then this is our chiller system over here. We still have some chemicals left over from the sanitizer production. We have two 2,000 liter Latina mixing blending tanks. And we actually have a smaller 1,000 liter mixing tank as well. Coming out the back, we had initially envisioned using this parking lot for parties and events and activities. We had a great kickoff party last January, and then COVID-19 came along, and by March, we had pretty much shut down all of our social events, and we're just trying to figure out, what do we do to stay afloat with all the bars and restaurants and cruise lines shut down. And I'll show you where we relocated our barrels. So this is what we've got right now in terms of our barrels. These are all these barrels were all bourbon barrels from Woodinville Whiskey Distillery. Fede may be familiar with that. I think that's up your way in Washington State. All of our Ziami Platinum and Barrel Proof has been aged in bourbon barrels, and we really like the flavor we get from the bourbon barrels for our rum. And this is going out to our front entrance, which has kind of become our back entrance since we're not currently open for tours or tastings. But here we are. So I guess that was kind of the reverse tour.
Yeah, we lost him for a second, but he'll be back. It's interesting, right? It's for me, it was very interesting is how you said at the end we got to maintain our business afloat, and the industry. Even though people tell me that Miami is it's a free will to do whatever you want, it has to be a little bit. I'm sure you look for other source of income, right? And then so having the hand sanitizers is a great alternative.
Can you hear me?
Victor, I can't. Yes.
Okay. Did you lose me in the tour at some point?
We lost you right at the very end when you were outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw it cut out. I'm like, did they miss the whole thing? All right.
No. It was good. So you were mentioning with your still, it's a hybrid, right?
Yeah. As a small distillery, we've been trying to economize on our equipment and maintain flexibility. So, we have 4 copper plates, 4 bubble plates in the still, which allows us to get up to 85-90% alcohol on a single pass. But it still gives us the flexibility if we want to do more of a pot still type rum. We can basically turn off the chiller to the deflator at the top of the column, and then we basically get more of a pot still rum, and then we could do we could do a stripping run and a finishing run if we want to finish it that way.
And so interesting that you were mentioning. So based on the chiller, you can increase the content of the volume of alcohol, right?
Yeah. Well, so we can chill down the top of the column more, and the cooler we make it, it basically puts a back pressure on the vapor in the column, so that the alcohol that's actually extracted and makes its way into the condenser is at a higher concentration. And then if we don't chill that at all, then all the vapor is going over, and it's basically a pot still action.
All right. So let's do this. Let's start talking about the sugarcane industry, and then we'll go back again to kind of the process of the distillery. So I'm going to share this slide here 1 second. All right, Florida sugar industry slides. We got two different slides, but Victor, you decided to share this one initially. If you can tell us a little bit of like about the history, a little bit more about what's happening today, right? Also with the sugar cane industry.
Yeah. So when we set out to build a distillery here in South Florida, one of our main objectives was to seize on the fact that we have access to local sugarcane right here in the state of Florida. And while we're definitely not the first distillery in the mainland U.S. making rum, it just seemed odd to me that you've got distilleries in New York State and Colorado and all over the country making rum, but we're not growing sugarcane all over the states.
Yeah.
So given that Miami is one of the largest consumers of rum per capita among major U.S. cities, and that we have the sugarcane in our backyard, we really wanted to focus on that local aspect.